along, we need to talk about the Joe Budden podcast. This is actually one of my favorite podcasts. I like this one, and then I love the Joe Rogan show. It's just, well, it's actually one of the few masculine podcasts that are really big on YouTube. That's not like red pill or hating women or whatever. It's just dudes talking about dude shit. It's actually really good. Anyway, so on Joe Budden's podcast, you got Joe, you got Rory to the left, the white man, Rory, and then to the right you got Maul. I'm pretty sure I got that right for a while. I really didn't know, even though I was watching. All right, so, and then you got Joe putting his triangle up with his fingers. I'm kidding. I kid. So, allegedly out here in the streets, Rory and Mal have left the Joe Budden podcast, and they've left for, mysterious ass reasons. And so I went back and I was looking at some stuff and looking at what people were saying about it. And apparently a few weeks ago, it was noticeable that Rory, the white man, we're just going to refer to him as the white man for the rest of the story. It was apparent that the white man was getting really, really more and more aggressive towards Joe, and Joe, was just kind of taking it, kind of calling it out, kind of not, but it just got to be too much. And Maul, who was Jamal, Jamal on the right there is taking Rory's side, and as Rory continued to get more and more aggressive, and this is what you got to understand. I never saw Rory on this show as an aggressive dude, but I guess anybody can get aggressive enough when they not eating. Or when they feel like they're not eating good as you. This is why they say you can't mix friendship and business, because they see you making a certain amount of money and you not paying them the same, or allegedly paying them slave wages. I'm just kidding. I'm just saying. People are going to feel some kind of way. Because on one hand, no, they don't have any ownership in the Joe Budden podcast. But we know all three of y'all. I don't know if we going to listen just for Joe the same way we listen for all three of them. And so we would think that you would give all three of them something that's fair. But according to the streets, it ain't really sounding like that's what it's going to be. And so, as Rory got more and more aggressive, Joe said, you know what, this podcast needs to go on a bit of a vacation. They went on vacation for a little bit. They came back and Rory and Matt was gone. All right. And so what I've been hearing. No, let's talk about what Joe said first, right? So Joe did address the speculations because everybody want to know where the co-host is at, because, I love y'all audiences, but y'all would ask a question, y'all would drive a question in a pure hell. You be like, I ain't trying to talk about that, and y'all will post it again and again and again and again and again and again until you get your answer. And it be like, damn it, this is what happened. Oh, here, you happy? Damn. Good Lord. Y'all know who y'all are. The questions, the comments, the DMs. I love it all, though. And so, Joe actually on the show addressed everything and said that there was no beef between them. And he said that he felt like there was miscommunication between him and Rory and Mal. And it kind of sounded like a it's not you, it's me kind of breakup. Kind of sounded like we're divorcing for irreconcilable differences, which means you cheated. You did something wrong. You ain't paying like you're supposed to be paying. Is pretty much what this sounds like, but I could be completely wrong. But Joe reiterated that, look, these seats are theirs, and whenever they want to come back, they can. But haven't you noticed, right, with any job, because this is a job just like anything else, when you leave it and come back, it's never really the same. When you leave a relationship and come back to it, it's never really the same. Not to say you can't work through problems and issues, but it always has a little bit of a funk over it, right? That's why, like in a marriage, you should never say the D word. You should never play with divorce unless you're serious about what you're saying, because once you cross that line, you really can't come back. And so I almost feel like even if Rory and Mal come back to the show, it's going to be like, it's just going to be weird tension. They might just want to move on, although the show will never be the same. Okay, so now let's get to the rumors, right? So the rumors is that Rory was getting really just mad at Joe for whatever reason. And when the show went on hiatus, Joe and Rory had a phone call, and Rory kept saying that he wanted to fight Joe. And Joe said, well, I don't play like that, and I don't do that with my friends. And Rory said, Negro. No, he said, you colored we ain't friends. I added in the color part, but I'm just saying, right? Dramatic effect. And so the conversation got more and more heated. And so they just decided to keep their difference. Now, I want to know, who do you think will win in the fight between Joe in the middle and white man on the left? Who you got? Who you got? Now, this is an older picture of them. Joe has gotten more of a dad bod, you know, more and more by the month. But still, he still got that fighter in him. Who you trusting? Who you trusting? You trusted neck tattoo, or you trusting out of shape white man that's wearing the wrong color for his skin tone? I got Joe if they fight. That's what I still got Joe. All right. So then it's also being said on the streets that Joe and Mal had a very heated conversation. We don't know about what, but in this conversation, Joe dug too deep into Mal. Oh, that sounded bad. Went too. That sounds bad. Dug too deep in. Well, I mean, you truly on revolt. No, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. But went too far and crossed the line that Mal is not sure if they can come back from. And I'm like, all this ambiguous stuff. Can you just tell us what happened? Well, of course you can, because of contractual reasons, blah, blah, blah. So then I kept looking a little bit more. And it seems like that in February 2021, Joe Budden Podcast signed a multifaceted deal with Patreon, right? You know, now the big creators are coming to platforms like Spotify and Patreon and getting multi-million-dollar deals. Now, Joe Budden Podcast previously had a deal with Spotify, and I forgot what it was worth, maybe 15 million or something like that, but they basically treat them like employees. They treated them like slaves. Spotify did not treat the Joe Budden Podcast the same way they treated Joe Rogan. They gave Joe Rogan 100 million, and he still gets to call the shots. Joe Budden wasn't offered hardly that at all. Wasn't allowed to take no vacations. We didn't get no bonuses. They was giving them Rolexes for bonuses, and when they would pick their Rolex, Spotify was like, that's too much, you know. So straight sunning them. So after that 2-year contract, Joe Budden left Spotify. We all know that timeline, but then he went over there to Patreon, all right? And he signed a multifaceted deal with them, which means it was probably for multi-millions. He probably retained ownership of his show. And in addition to that, he also got hired on with Patreon as the head of equity. And it's an advisory position. And Joe's whole position at Patreon is to help tweak Patreon's policies so that creators can really benefit on Patreon. Basically, all these platforms are trying to take out YouTube pretty much, because if you can go somewhere like Patreon and post the same content, but without any restrictions, eventually that's going to take over. But YouTube is free, which is what's keeping YouTube thriving. They all competing for that top spot. But nonetheless, that's what he's doing over there. So he done got a big check to sign with Patreon. He more than likely gets a percentage of that Patreon, of the patron money that you guys spend every month. And he gets a salary as a paid advisory member. And so the only thing I can think of on why these two are really mad is that Joe didn't look out for them in that deal. Joe might have did them the same way Spotify did him. He didn't try to get them on no kind of board, but maybe they didn't qualify for no board. I don't think he got them any ownership in the show, but quite frankly, if they didn't start the show, they don't automatically have a right in the state of the show. People have to learn how to separate feelings from business. But as a businessman, you know, when you are somebody, look, I read 50 Cent, but one thing 50 Cent taught me is everybody is motivated by different things. And so you would just think, if you get in a bag, look, you ain't truly eating unless your boys is eating around you too, Joseph. You went around there to Patreon and got 2-3 checks and didn't give these men a raise. I believe that's why they really mad. Joseph. These men want to eat good too. These men want to live good too. These men want to have big booty Puerto Rican baby mamas that don't know they really black too. They want it too. I'm sorry, Sin is Dominican, but we ain't gonna tell our nose anyway. Hey, Sin. Black guys treat you better, right? Okay. So all in all, The only thing I can see is that it's about money. And money usually does ruin good relationships. It just does. It's really sad. I will say too, Joseph Budden to me is not somebody that would be easy to deal with or easy to bring issues to. And so I could just only imagine letting stuff boil and boil and boil over, and then eventually it's like, as a man, there's only so much you're gonna take for you. Like, forget it. We gotta fix this or I'm done. But damn worrying about, you done went from at least getting a check to no check at all. So I'm just saying, y'all let me know what you think. Y'all let me know what you think.
What's up, everybody? Go head over to the 9-Day Shopping Network to check out these melanated earrings, bags, and their beautifully designed footwear. And you better hurry up, because they currently got a sale on all the Afrocentric wooden drop earrings. It's buy 2 and get a 3rd pair for free. That's right, you heard that correctly. It's buy 2 pairs and you get the 3rd pair for free. Also, don't forget to subscribe to their email list to get those new sales and discount codes at nightanddayNetmarket.com. The link to the products is in the description box below. Shit.